Okay, back to being a pirate. Arg. Arg, me matey. Arg.
I'll take care of it.
You're a follower of the light?
The light? Oh, you mean... well, depends on what you mean by follow.
Maybe you heard earlier? I follow Aethys too. Mostly, in a way. I mean, I am a child of the Dawnstars, even if firstly I'm a Gaunite.
That's good, I guess. For you.
Oh, maybe you don't want to talk about it. That's all right. Surely, some other time, then. Was it the way I said it? Or maybe I'm in need of a washing. Yeah? Hoo-wee! About time we took a breather. My feet are blistered something fierce. Tell me what's on your mind? They're there in my head when I sleep. And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like a smear of grit. Happens when I take in a particularly volatile soul. Go madder than I already am? I don't rightly know.
She's crazy.
It's not like I can turn my back on my duty to my God, even if it kills me. We talking during the Saints' War, or after he died? Well, before he died, he was still Aethys as the majority of my brethren know him. Aethys embodied a human, and when that human got blown to bits, we all believed Aethys died. And I think a part of him did, the part he'd most closely woven into living flesh, the part that represented life, and rebirth after death. Which means the part of him that could have survived, that stormed across the Deadfire seas, was the side more aligned with obsidian, rot, and falling away. No need to fiddle-foot around. It's time I got about...
Where is... What's this? Hello? Cool. to find something. To find something later. Should be an awesome pistol somewhere. So change it to that. Yeah. He could be my shooter. Okay, there's there's a special pistol somewhere around here. One of these people has the... Oh, here's that sword I wanted. I'll give that to King Fuckface.
Hey, I wanted to ask you something. It's about Shodi. She means well. I can see that. And she's spirited, and if I was still young and didn't know the things I know, it'd be different. But anybody got that much faith in any god, let alone Aethys? I don't know how to talk to someone like that. Not these days.
I could tell.
I get why she's like that. And I was there once, long time back. But it's 'cause of that I can't see a way to respect it. I'm no good at hiding it from her either. I don't see this getting better. It doesn't seem like she's any different than what she shows. Same thing, really. That's just her trying to find a way to worship Aethys that makes sense to her. I guess that sounds familiar now that you mention it.
Ahoy.
What is it? What is it? Of course.
By sea, by air, by terror. Okay. Yo ho, pirate's life for me.
The ring of a bell comes to you on a cold wind. The ring comes again and again, until soon the air is full with the sound of 1,000,000 bells ringing all at once. You feel a resonance in your core, a bell ringing in tune with all the others. Something in you bends, then breaks, and you are borne away on the ringing tide, just another peal among the many. The tide of bells recedes. You lever yourself up onto your knees and realize you have been here before. You stand in Bareth's realm.
Oh, that would have sucked.
You are alone. And then, you are not. An indistinct figure stands before you, flickering between forms like a fire-cast shadow. A fixed, taunting grin. Bottomless black eyes. A yawning chasm in the earth. The aspects of Bareth, the Usher and the Pallid Knight, shift in and out of focus. And at their back, 4 indistinct shades hover. You feel an eternity stretch out behind each of them, reaching back to places so distant and yet so near you cannot comprehend their size. The shifting image of Bareth settles on the aspect of the Pallid Knight.
Watcher.
She intones. Her voice is the discordant clangor of gongs struck out of time.
I tasked you to discover Aethys's intentions. Tell me what you have learned.
The Pallid Knight knits her brows.
He does not seek to return to the Beyond? Intriguing.
Her sickly pale skin pulls tight across the bones of her face, as if the shell of this aspect does not quite fit the impossible creature it contains. The figure nearest Bareth dissolves and reforms in the image of a thin-lipped, ancient crone, whose face has felt the melting. The goddess Woedica strides forward.
Goddess of Justice, Law, and Oaths. Okay.
Does Aethys frighten you, Bareth? He should. Magran subdued Aethys's influence once before, and yet he returned.
From out of Woedica's shadow shuffles a hunched, bald man you recognize as the God Scan. His skin is mapped with swollen lash scars, and breath whistles through the ragged hole in his face, where his nose once was. He does not speak, but stares up at Woedica. Woedica steeples her long, knob-jointed fingers.
We must annihilate Aethys now, before he makes a rash decision we cannot easily annul. A moon would do the job nicely. As if you could stop me.
The figure beside the aspect of Bareth flows forward in a swirling cloud of ash. The ash falls to the tiles and reveals a molten-skinned woman, leaning on a monstrous, wicked-edged broadsword. Magran's glowing lips curl in disdain.
We must find a solution to the problem of Aethys that is neither do-nothing, nor destroy the world. I acted in haste during the Saints' War. You will not goad me into doing the same now. To move against him while his plans are unknown would be the height of foolishness. We must find wisdom in precaution.
Magran says. The Pallid Knight tilts her head to the side, and gives you the long-suffering, narrow-eyed look of a parent dealing with a particularly disappointing child.
No.
Another of the silent figures steps forward, and the warm, golden light of a summer's afternoon spills across your face.
Let's all take a deep, calming breath. Perhaps cooler heads will prevail.
Behind Helia's words, you hear the soft coo of doves.
Aethys has been separated from us for too long. Isn't it possible he intends only to gather enough souls to reclaim his realm in the beyond? He should be welcomed.
Helia says. You look up then into avian eyes. Through them, you see clouds of starlings converge and divide. Helia puts a feathered hand to her chest.
He wouldn't. Betrayal is not in his nature.
Scan shuffles forward.
Yes, yes. We should welcome Aethys' return to the fold. His gratitude we can leverage to cajole him into divulging his plot. Then, when he believes himself to be in our good graces, we do as Wedeka suggests, and crush him into the earth.
Scan pauses, inspecting you.
Ah, and here is the Watcher who wiped dear desperate Alice's mind. You could have let my followers help her kill the man who tormented her. But you did not. Curious.
Scan licks the ragged edge of his lipless mouth and grins, then turns to Helia.
I did not expect such a deliciously ruthless idea from you, Helia. I am impressed.
Helia's feathered crest stands on end.
You wretched little creature.
Your point is well made, little Watcher. If self-evident, Aethys has not been known to possess a vindictive nature. Indeed, he has occasionally been magnanimous to a fault. However, if we push him to the brink of reason, there is no telling what he may do. He is, as ever, unpredictable.
Something akin to fondness creeps into her voice. The Pallid Knight gestures for silence.
Aethys cannot be killed, but he may be subdued. Yet to do so will take immense power and time. Both stand in his favor.
Magrin grits her black glass teeth.
That is why we must ascertain his plans before he has the chance to put them into motion.
She begins to pace. Her steps leave little trails of Magrin stops and balls her hands into flaming fists.
Even if we manage to destroy his current form, there is the possibility he could return, if he has not already absorbed all of his children.
Wodeka waves the gods to silence.
Aethys gathers strength. His strength is a threat to us.
Her voice takes on a sharp, almost panicked edge.
There is no sensible answer to the question of a resurgent Aethys, other than decisive, final action.
We will act when it is appropriate to do so, and not before.
The Pallid Knight steps away from the half-circle of assembled gods. She pulls herself up to a great height. The words she speaks next come not from her mouth, but from all around you.
Follow him, Watcher.
The black of the Pallid Knight's irises expand until her eyes are as dark and cold as the void between stars. She bends down and brings her ghostly face level with your own.
Your debt to me remains unpaid.
She stares at you, unblinking. Like a needle drawn to a magnet, you are pulled toward her one compulsory step at a time. Helpless to resist, you tumble into her impossible eyes. You fall wildly, endlessly, unable to find your bearings or slow your... And in the distance, above, no, behind you, comes an insistent ringing. You angle yourself toward it, searching for the sound. A small silver bell appears just inches from your fingertips. You reach for it, straining to still its interminable ringing. The moment you touch it, Your soul slams into your body with all the force of a fall from the top. You blink open your eyes and find yourself on the floor of your ship's cabin. Alone.
That was long.
Leave it to me.
I'm glad to see you in good health, my lord. I was the steward of your keep at Cad Nua, my lord. Long before your time, I had my soul bound to a throne of Ardraban. And for nearly 200 years, I felt Cad Nua and the comings and goings within it like an extension of myself. It is a strange connection to lose. Still, it would be unseemly for me to complain of loss to you, my lord. With Cad Nua in ruins, there was little purpose in waxing sentimental over the rubble. I was able to salvage enough of your treasure and wealth to afford the purchase of the Defiant and the hire of a small crew. Unfortunately, that consumed the remainder of your once considerable assets. Under the circumstances, I hoped you would not object. I suggest we proceed to Neketaka, my lord. It is the largest city in Deadfire, and we shall be better able to get our bearings there.
That's actually where I was heading anyway.
Ship life sure is an adventure, ain't it? Just think of all the places we can sail to, all the sights we could see. This is nothing like being stuck on a farm, or cloistered in the back of a temple. Tell me what's on your mind. You need me, I'll be 2 whoops and a holler away.
I wish you'd maintained my story in front of Vanessa and the others. I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative. I realized there could be nothing between us. But it was nice to have a friend all the same. You stood with me through more than anyone I've ever known. But a lot has happened over the last 5 years. At your suggestion, I took up Theos's mantle after we parted company. I wanted to use the Leaden Key to improve the lives of Kith. So for 5 years, I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret. Hoping they can be reformed. The task has been more difficult than I anticipated. I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make, or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours. I know. And I have. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of changing the Leaden Key would be tracking down its members and operations. Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia, a run-down backwater of a place. Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition. At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt. I thought new leadership might guide them away from this practice. So I adjusted some of the deeds pertaining to the ownership of their land. It just so happened that a nearby Comtessa, a rather prosperous one, had a claim on the village, and the fertile fields around it. The Comtessa annexed the village, as I'd planned. And while it continued, she taxed the villagers to pay for the plantation she was building, and conscripted half of them to defend it. I had to do something, didn't I? I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better. I suppose so. I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and you've given me a lot to think about. Ah, that. I'm looking for an old Leaden Key sect. I've found several references, but I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything.
Okay. Onward to Nataka. Right.
You're far from home, farmer. How did you make it all this way in your little boat?
Why do we gotta be farmers just because we're from Dyrwood?
Are you a farmer?
Yeah, but you can't just assume. We got rabble-rousers, too.
I'm the harbor master, Kaoha. I must ask your reason for docking in Neketaka. Yes, you do. You can't dock a ship in the harbor and have your run of Queen's Birth without giving me a good reason for docking here.
Show them. Show them what you are. Yes. Yes. That's it.
What's the matter with you? What are you doing? If you're trying to scare us with some cipher mischief, save the purple flames for the tribes of the Outer Islands.
Now.
this?
Run for it!
Everybody saw that, right? It wasn't just me.
The Hazanui is at the palace, blaming the Valians for attacking one of their ports.
Well, did they?
Of course not. But the Queen must calm them down before they go to war over it.
Merla, how is every ship hunter taken?
A giant? One of the Rathun? No, much bigger. Such is the rumor.
Sounds like sailor tales to me.
We can summon the guards if you want to be difficult, Amico. Kindly leave.
If Luca doesn't see reason, the Duape will lose their lands. For their sake, I must...
Echosi, you have business here. You are in luck. The governor is between meetings. Go on in.
An interesting surprise. The Watcher of Cadnoa, no? I am told that is your ship in the harbor. Echosi, I mean nothing by it. All newcomers are of great interest here. I am Nueva Alvari, governor in residence of the Valiant Trading Company here in Nekataka. What brings you to my door? An interesting question. Director Castol concerns himself with the business of the Valiant Trading Company as a whole. He must coordinate our operations across the entire region. I am afraid you must deal with me for the time being. You seek work, information. These are things I can help you with. Well, the Valiant Trading Company has been here in Nekataka for many decades now. The company also engage work suited to a watcher. Your arrival presents an opportunity. How much do you know about the Adra? Every viable deposit is of interest to us. Some weeks ago, we received word of a large quantity of luminous Adra on a distant island. However, Pukukahara is said to neighbor the island of Tikawara, and we've already made contact with the natives there. We dispatched. Our people have neither returned nor sent. We are too long delayed, and someone must finish the job. A what? Yes. I take your meaning. Here, a taste of what's to come. This will be of some use to you, I think. It entitles you to act as a commissioned agent of the Valiant Trading Company. Present it and you will be recognized as such. Until then, I believe we are finished.
You eyeing that fresh shat bare paws lump of lumber yonder? That be the misery's delight. Malnaj's pus-stuffed canker of a boat. Malnaj, High Queen Sea Devil of the Deadfire. Unfortunately, also the second best ship hunter around. After yours truly, of course. Doxy popped a hard-on and a half for hating me the tick I joined the Sorcerer. Romaro shielded me from the worst of her training. When they bountied him, Malnaj be up in Romaro's head or I've never had a roll on the waves. She finds him for us. She'll sink him soon as sighted. Come on, Captain.
I'll
only deal with serious clients. Now, Shu. A serious brute. I can... Madiko. But it is impossible to find skilled work when blood travels south of their brains. The value of...